Most gardeners, well, they kill fruit trees in pots by treating them like houseplants. They grab a decorative container, fill it with generic potting soil, water on a schedule, and then, honestly, they wonder why the tree stalls, drops fruit, or just dies after 2 seasons. The real consequence isn't just a weak harvest, it's root suffocation, nutrient lockout, and a tree that never develops the root mass needed to support fruit. Container fruit growing is not small-scale gardening, it's intensive agriculture in a confined root zone. If you don't manage that root zone deliberately, you lose. Peaches on dwarf rootstock can thrive in a 20-gallon container if you prune them into an open center shape. I remove about 40% of new growth annually to maintain airflow and light penetration. Peaches are heavy feeders. If you don't replenish nutrients, yields drop sharply in year 2. I top dress with compost in early spring and apply microbial inoculant to keep nutrient cycling active. In compacted or lifeless potting mixes, peaches decline fast. Biology keeps them productive. Guava is underrated for small space growers in warm climates. In a 15-gallon pot, guava produces surprisingly well if you maintain consistent moisture. Unlike citrus, it tolerates slightly wetter soil, but drainage still matters. In my trials, guava responded strongly to fermented organic inputs. When I incorporated bokashi fermented kitchen scraps into the top 4 to 6 inches of soil and allowed them to finish breaking down in the container, vegetative growth accelerated noticeably. Just berry scraps at least 4 inches deep to avoid pests. Pomegranate handles container life exceptionally well because it naturally tolerates some root confinement. A 15-gallon pot is enough for consistent harvests. Prune to maintain 3 to 5 main stems and remove interior suckers. Overwatering is the fastest way to reduce fruit sweetness. I water deeply but less frequently once fruit begins coloring. Stress at the right time improves flavor. Blueberries are perfect for pots, but only if you get the pH right. They require acidic soil between 4.5 and 5.5. Standard compost-based mixes are often too neutral. I build a separate mix with 50% pine bark fines, 30% peat moss or cocoa coir, and 20% perlite, then monitor pH every season. In raised beds, adjusting soil acidity is expensive and slow. In pots, you control everything. That's the advantage. Dwarf bananas can produce in containers, but you must understand that they are heavy feeders and heavy drinkers. A 25-gallon pot is minimum. I feed every 2 weeks with diluted liquid fertilizer during active growth and maintain consistent moisture without waterlogging. Bananas respond extremely well to microbially active soils. In sterile potting mix, they grow thin and pale. With consistent biological inputs, pseudostems thicken and fruiting improves. Mulberries are shockingly productive in containers if pruned aggressively. A dwarf variety in a 20-gallon fabric pot can supply a household with fresh fruit for weeks. Mulberries tolerate a wide pH range and are far less demanding than apples or peaches. The key is annual hard pruning to keep them compact and encourage new fruiting wood. Finally, strawberries in stacked containers or wide shallow pots maximize vertical space. While technically not a tree, they deserve mention because they integrate perfectly under potted fruit trees. In a small backyard, I underplant strawberries around citrus or figs to use surface space efficiently. Keep crowns above soil level and replace plants every 2 to 3 years for best yields. Now let's talk management because species choice is only half the equation. Container fruit trees require repotting or root pruning every 2 to 3 years. I remove the tree, trim back the outer 2 inches of the root ball all around, refresh the soil mix and replant. If you skip this, roots compact and nutrient uptake declines sharply. Watering must be responsive, not scheduled. In hot weather, a 20-gallon pot may need daily watering. In cool seasons, once every 3 to 5 days might be enough. Check moisture at root depth, not just the surface. Feeding should be steady and moderate. Over-fertilizing burns roots quickly in confined soil. I prefer diluted liquid feeding at half recommended strength applied more frequently. When I add microbial inputs like EM1 at about 1 to 100 dilution during watering, nutrient cycling improves and foul smells from anaerobic pockets disappear. Again, if you want to experiment with that system, the link is in the description. Small spaces don't limit production. Poor root management does. If you build the soil properly, choose true dwarf varieties, manage pruning deliberately, and maintain biological activity in the pot, you can harvest serious fruit from patios, balconies, and compact backyards. This is how you grow better food in less space. If this kind of practical, experience-based breakdown helps you level up your garden, subscribe to the channel and share this video with another grower who thinks fruit trees require acres. The difference between mediocre harvests and consistent production is knowledge applied correctly. That's what we focus on here.